Hi, this is Little Dwarf playing games while rambling incoherently into a microphone. Why? Well, just because I can, and I continue with Harvester, Blind. Last time I visited the police station, so let's continue in my exploration of the town. There is the fire station as well, which is supposedly, if I am to believe the words of the army colonel from the missile base, it's supposedly full of, like, all of the firemen are enthusiasts of naked men and they are drawing them over and over again. So I'm interested to learn more about that, because that's pretty weird, but to be honest, not the weirdest. Like, that would be one of the, well, to be honest, let me rephrase that. That's not even weird. Like, if you're gay, I imagine, it's the same as looking at naked women for straight people, so there's nothing weird about that. Like, to be honest, that's biologically wired in most people to find, naked, attractive people attractive. So that would be the least weird thing in the entirety of the Harvest Town, if they were just all flaming gay. Which, by the way, is that a pun? Like, is the fact that they are fire department specifically, is it supposed to be a pun? The pickets of the fence gleam with a fresh coat of white paint, like clean-cut soldiers standing at attention, defending truth, justice, and the American way. A fire truck with a lovely shade of pink.
Please excuse the mess. It did wonders with the upstairs bedroom, but this garage defies color coordination.
Okay. Oh yeah, it's pretty gay, I would say. Although, to be honest, not necessarily. Like, I'm pretty sure they are supposed to be a gay caricature, judging from the way the other one sounded. But you could say they're just practicing art, Straight people draw naked people all the time for practice, specifically. And in fact, I'm pretty sure you can get a job as a model for people to draw you. You just sit around and let them draw you for practice. Okay, the dog is actually pretty annoying. Saliva is forming from his barking chops. A picture of phallic-like structures all in a row. Decorative oriental fans from the Ming dynasty. An accident just waiting to happen. The lights are too high up to reach. An impressionistic landscape. A picture of a storybook fairy castle. A well-endowed nude man standing in the moonlight. A photorealistic mural of a peaceful countryside.
Don't bother me, I'm sketching. Oh, look what you made me do!
Okay, Sparky. He was mentioned by some of the other people in town.
Hello, Steve. Welcome to the House of Flame, as we like to call it. Oh, cut it out, Spots, honestly. Once he gets barking, a good piece of meat is the only way to shut him up. There you go, Spot. So, Steve, bet you don't remember me. Heard about that short in the old wiring. I'm Fire Marshal Sparky, head of your fire department.
To be honest, I find, like, this game is a bit, well, it's pretty obnoxious most of the time, because it said at the beginning, beware of cliches like the plague, and it's all cliches. Like, they are all so cartoonishly gay that it's not even funny. But obviously you have to remember that this game was made in the 90s. Like, in the 90s, I could imagine this still being funny for some people, because obviously homosexuality was more taboo back then. But nowadays it's like so trite and boring. Like, oh, he's gay, so he has a high-pitched voice and likes coloring things pink. Like, that's not funny. I'm not sure whether that's necessarily offensive. I'm not gay myself, so it's difficult for me to judge. But it's certainly not interesting. Where did you hear about my memory loss?
Don't be silly. Everyone thinks that amnesia kick is a scream. Well, you always were a kidder, Steve. Besides, it's my job to keep abreast of developments in the community to better serve you, the public. I'm sure you'll be thrilled when you learn of the many civic improvements we have planned for your fire department.
Such as...
Well, don't tell any of the others, but I've secured a bolt of the most divine moth material. I've hidden it because, well, if any of these Marys got a hold of it, it'd be gone in a jiffy. So I'd rather keep it hush-hush. I'm going to make new drapes for the firehouse, and if I have any left, cross your fingers, I'm going to make everyone matching mauve pillow cozies.
Those are civic improvements.
Don't be such a party pooper, Steve. We're talking about our future. Besides, we haven't had a fire in Harvest since the newspaper building burned down. Though I'll admit that the Wasp Works place is one big accident waiting to happen. Isn't that right, Spots?
Wait, what did I want to talk about? I already forgot. The art. It's surprisingly crap. Like, I thought they would be pretty good at it, because it would go in line with the actual cliche, right? But instead they're shit at it.
Art enriches the community, Steve. No less than a pulsing fire hose or a fireman beating down a blazing door. So what if we're drawing a nude man? So what if all we ever draw is a nude man, or the same nude man over and over in all sorts of provocative positions? Context, not content. Process, not subject. Don't be so gauche, Steve. It's beneath you.
Okay, what can you tell me about the newspaper fire?
A dreadful affair. You wouldn't think that a brick and steel building with a sprinkler system could go up that quickly.
You think it was arson?
Oh, please. Dwayne was glad enough to see the thing go up, and so was McKnight. If you could get into that safe in his wall... Forget it. Look, Steve, as far as I know, the fire was an accident. Let's just leave it at that. Now don't you go moving.
Okay, tell me about the Wasp Woman.
Some people think all we do is sit around, sketching fetching examples of manhood for our own amusement. Nothing could be further from the truth. Why, just the other day we cited Tetsu Crumb for fire code violations. All the dried out paper wasp nests clustered around her wooden house. Why, it's a chem law just waiting for the right faggot. Believe me, none of us wants to see another fiasco like the Sentinel fire.
Yeah, and what about your dog, Spots?
Spots is a dandy watchdog, but like the rest of us, he has one awful vice. None of us can resist a nice cut of meat. Actually, I was pretty sure, like, I was almost convinced the dog is gay as well, and that's what they are going to tell me. You know. Bye-bye.
Okay, is that everything? Can I go to any other room in here? No. Okay. So let's go north. There's a cemetery, a Wayward Hotel. Okay, let's visit the hotel. A pretty cheap-looking sign for such an uptown establishment. Okay, it seems I can't do anything with it for now. And the door seems to be barred. Oh. No, I can actually get inside. Reflections make the lobby seem more spacious than it actually is. The door is locked. This somewhat ponderous console radio evokes an earlier era. And so does the top hat, to be honest. A ledger of names, the last being Jonathan A. Rhinecliffe, checked in on Monday.
Stephen,
Who are you?
I am Daniel Moynihan, mortician and proprietor of the Wayward Hotel.
Most people ask me why I don't remember their names.
Well, you always were a kidder, Steve. Besides, as one who deals with the dead, I try not to involve myself in the affairs of the living. Your loss of memory is of no concern to me, true or false. Ironic, considering my recent involvement in a charity event.
What are you talking about?
My complaints were central to the scheduling of the upcoming Harvest Bake Sale. I'm gratified the Order of the Harvest Moon got involved. The proceeds will certainly help cover my losses.
Your losses?
It seems that, like some elephant's graveyard, people of low station come to Harvest to die. They simply drop dead, penniless, and they all need burials. God knows, by putting these people up at the Wayward Hotel, I do more than my fair share. So why must I pay for the coffins and burial materials as well? My losses to the dead are substantial. Hopefully the bake sale will offset some of them.
Bake sale?
This bake sale is a joint effort of the Harvest PTA and the Order of the Harvest Moon. The proceeds will be used to set up a fund for transients. In other words, bums and societal rejects without families who wander into Harvest uninvited.
Then the Order is setting up shelters for the homeless?
Not shelters, graves. You see a great number of these hobos die while passing through. Don't ask me why, it's what those people do. Use your common sense, Stephen, memory or no. If they were involved in setting up homeless shelters, then why would I be involved? And why would I be sustaining losses?
Order of the Harvest Moon.
As always, the Order of the Harvest Moon has taken the lead in addressing our societal ills. Through their sponsorship of the blood drive and the bake sale, the lodge ensures that all our needs are met.
Needs. Such as...
Pardon me, there are corpses to prepare. And my losses have been substantial of late. If you're sincerely interested in the Order, however, you should stop by the lodge and speak with the Sergeant-at-Arms.
Why should I be interested, Mr. Moynihan?
Of all the spots in Harvest, the lodge is the most prominent, literally and figuratively. It is the ambition of everyone here to join. And join you must to attain wisdom.
What kind of wisdom?
If I knew, I'd be a member. I have the feeling you have what it takes to join the Order, Stephen. We all believe that. Whether or not you live up to your potential is up to you.
Okay, what about the bake sale?
This bake sale is a joint effort of the Harvest PTA and the Order of the Harvest Moon. The proceeds will be used to set up a fund for transients. In other words, Bums and societal rejects without families who wander into harvest uninvited.
Then the...
Okay, so I asked about that already. Can you say anything about my amnesia?
They're spouting gibberish.
No. What about the cemetery?
They're spouting gibberish.
Okay. Goodbye then.
I'd say it's been a pleasure, but I find the company of the living so wearisome.
Okay, let's actually visit the cemetery itself. Wow, the lodge building is really imposing and huge. The unnamed hobo. Boxcar Willie. The air here reeks of fresh soil and manure. Not even glue could save him. Rest in peace, Elmer. 2 years in harvest was too long. Fear not in death, moaned Jakes. Scotty Bacon, we shall rest easily without you. The scripture on the headstone has faded beyond legibility. November 27th, 1948, another unknown visitor. This tombstone is unmarked. Like, I'm pretty sure they are killing them, actually. That seems to me like it would be right up their alley to kill the random people that stumble into harvest. Yet another resting place among the graves. Okay, there's some kind of a mausoleum. The Pottsdam family crypt. This leaning sycamore is dead rotten, unstable for climbing or stringing nooses. The marble doors have been sealed shut. Okay. Professionally kept landscape. A large translucent window. The hideous symbol stands out like a swastika or a flattened spider. These votive candles have been lit, and the many well-wishers for the dead, or one well-wisher with a lot of matches. An empty coat hanger. Excuse me. Okay, it's full of organs, so I guess that's the morgue or something. Although, why would there be a morgue at a church? I guess it's more like an embalming room. Those dear to us who have passed recently. Jonathan A. Rhinecliffe. A schedule of this week's funerary events. A pair of comfortable-looking sofas. Okay, let's get in here first. A disembodied organ which was never meant to pump formaldehyde. On the counter sits a new tube of astro glue.
You can't have that, Stephen. I need it for my work. And may I say you're a rude young man for attempting to steal it.
I was only gonna borrow it.
Indeed. And have you anything I could hold as security?
Security? Like what? Money?
I'm afraid that's not good enough. I need that glue for my work. You must present me with something significant if you'd have me part with it.
Okay, I don't even particularly want it for now because I don't know what would I do with it. So, a very nasty looking sink. Pair of bloody handprints are smeared across the glass. The needle lies on 33 degrees Fahrenheit. There are organic things floating in formaldehyde in those jars. The sort of things that make you want to look away before you can really see what they are, but your eyes won't oblige. The fan's whirring blades barely stir the stench-laden air. The messy remains of some poor soul he spilled.
Young man, we really have nothing to say to each other. I have the feeling your innards shall soon adorn my slab, and I'd rather not know the face of the meat I'm slicing.
Okay.
I'd say it's been a pleasure, but I find the company of the living so wearisome.
An exquisite chandelier. Rows and rows of empty wooden pews, caked with the dust of indifference. And the imprint of a head, buttocks and sliding heels are scraped into the thick dust of the pew. A small lectern for the priest. A brass candelabra holds several strange-smelling candles. Empty vessel for the dead. A saint kneels before a shepherd, jubilantly terrified. Hauntingly beautiful stained glass window in which a man holds a scythe in one hand and some ethereal power in the other. Okay, I'm pretty sure this has to have something to do with the Lodge of the Harvest Moon, because obviously the figure was holding a scythe, which is a tool used for harvest. So it has to have something to do with that, I'm pretty sure. Okay, abandoned house, and then Johnson residence and Pottsdam residence. Okay, so let's go to the abandoned house first. The old car is the perfect nesting ground for wasps. Oh, so is that where the wasp lady lives? This attic window is the perfect nesting ground for wasps. This place could use a gardener. Yeah, Tetsuya Cram is the wasp lady. This icebox is sealed shut with wasp nests. A wasp net. A rather colorful picture of a wasp. From the sound of it, the cabinets are infested with wasps. Okay, so she's obsessed with wasps. And they are, like, are those alive? They are enormous. They are larger than my head.
It's not often that I get visitors.
Are you the wasp woman?
I am Tetsuya Crumb. The ignorant of harvest call me the wasp woman. A pejorative, no doubt, born of fear and a poverty of imagination.
I don't understand.
The politics of honey, the Judeo-Christian rites of sacrifice and conventional taboos against unbridled pleasure are all responsible for the prejudice against wasps.
What? What do Judeo-Christian sacrifice have to do with all that?
When a bee stings, it rips itself apart and dies for its audacity. This appeals to those raised worshipping a god that demands sacrifice and atonement. But the wasp is promiscuous. They are not as sympathetic to the masses because they don't die when they sting. They live to sting another day, and they take pleasure from it.
Pleasure?
Yes, a great deal of pleasure. The wasp is a sensual being, not a laborer. Hedonistic instead of industrial. Some think them quick to anger. In truth, they are easily swayed to ecstasy. They penetrate your flesh, and the muscular contractions in their thorax as they pump venom could be likened to the muscular contractions of ejaculation. Each painful welt, an act of love.
Okay, that's pretty crazy as well. To understand it in such a context, sacrifice.
When a bee stings, it...
Oh, okay. I asked that already.
Yes,
Wasps?
regard the wasp. Wasps produce nothing for others, but only for themselves. Wasps build nests and more wasps, nothing more. They spread into eaves and attics, not to make honey for supermarkets, but to buzz and rustle on their own paper, perpetuating their own agenda, growing stealthily, surely, the most relentless of insects.
Wait. Are they mechanical? Because they had the harvest symbol, like, on their eyes? Yeah, keep them away from innocent children.
Innocent children. What better way to describe the wasp? Carefree, wild, beautiful things. If they wish to share their love with babies, or any of the rest of you ignorant hicks, that is not my concern.
Do you know anything about the lodge?
A triviality.
What about my amnesia?
A triviality.
Okay. So I guess that's it for now then. Johnson residence. Mr. Johnson erected an impenetrable fortress to protect his tucker during the night. During the day, Mr. Johnson keeps watch over his precious 48 tucker. The manhole cover is locked in place. A nasty stench drifts up from the sewers below.
Hello, Steve. How's the husband-to-be?
Other than having no memory, I guess I'm all right.
All right? You should be ecstatic, considering what you're getting into, if you haven't gotten into it already. Speaking of which, I heard Stephanie was grounded. Her daddy's worried about getting his meat. Though if I were him, I'd be more concerned about Stephanie getting some meat.
Right. And you are?
You always were a kidder, Steve. I'm Mr. Johnson, remember? Glad you stopped by. Just got finished waxing the tucker. I could use a little relaxation. But since Edna's not here, I might as well talk to you.
What about Edna?
Edna Fitzpatrick is one of the snootiest women in town. I declare there isn't a woman in Harvest that turned me away. If I was interested, that is. Just because she owns DNAs, she's got all these highfalutin ideas about independence. And her with a little girl to raise. That child needs a father. And Edna, well, she needs a good, hard penis.
Okay. We'll get to that, I'm sure, but Edna's Diner.
I'll admit DNA's done it does good business. But money isn't everything to a woman. Money keep you warm at night, and you wrap your thighs around it, rake bloody gashes in its back with your painted hollowed fingernails. Edna! Edna! So, how's Stephanie?
Well, we're not there yet because we were talking about her child.
Karen's only 5 years old. Since Mr. Fitzpatrick passed away, in Edna's arms and legs, I might add, Edna's been raising Karen on her own. What a shame. To deprive a little girl of a positive male role model, and her mama of a fine, stiff penis.
Yeah, you were talking about your member, so I guess let's discuss that as well.
What makes you so sure she needs a penis?
You saying Edna's getting it from someone else? Like maybe that damn Sheriff Twain? He's over at DNA's diner every day from noon to 1, eating his dadgum pie. And I got a feeling he'd like Edna for dessert. Sure, it's the only diner in town, but I'm sure he's got more on his mind than food.
Yeah, let's talk about Stephanie.
I don't take your meaning.
What are you talking about?
Speaking of Stephanie, I still haven't gotten an invitation to the wedding yet.
I don't have anything to do with that.
That's okay. Personally, I'd prefer a pass to the honeymoon. You could use the back seat of my Tucker for the maiden voyage. It's plenty big, believe you me. I'd drive you around, and I wouldn't look in the back seat, I guarantee it. Though if you'd like to come up front and take the wheel a while, I wouldn't say nay.
What about your car?
Heck of an automobile, isn't she? Damn shame I have to sit out here and watch over her all the time. But if I didn't, those stupid kids might scratch her up playing ball.
Can I take a look at it?
Don't see why not, but don't touch her. I'm mighty particular about my Tucker. I had the garage remodeled like a fortress, so I could lock her up at night and get some sleep.
I'm sure she's safe enough inside.
A few months back, someone broke into my house, trying to get into the garage. I had to gripe like hell before the sheriff agreed to start the evening patrols and instigate the curfew.
Okay.
I don't take your meaning. Bye now.
Okay, and the last building in town is the Pottsdam residence, which I guess is where Stephanie lives. Like, now that I think about it, I'm pretty sure I went the wrong way about this game, because I went everywhere but there's nothing to do in most of those places, because I have not advanced the plot, and I'm pretty sure I will be actually required to go back to those locations anyway. It's too high up to look into. The glass is so clear the reflection makes it difficult to see. The overhead window is shaped like a wagon wheel. The garage needs a new paint job. But oh well, it's too late for regrets now. It is what it is. I am going to save because this episode has been long enough, so I'm going to end it here. That's all for this one, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.